folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living. You wouldn't know it by the temperatures outside, but from the leaves you can tell that it is definitely October here and mid-fall for the mountain area. We're just having the unseasonably warm weather, which has been the complete opposite of where we were at last year and the year before. The last couple of years up here, you guys have seen videos of snowstorms and blizzards and single-digit temperatures from us if you've been watching that long. And I'll put a link to some videos in case you want to catch those. But we had some sudden temperature swings in the past. But right now, I mean, it's about perfect as it can get. And the rest of this week is going to be really warm as well. In fact, it's not really even cooling down until next week, until it gets into the 40s. So we still have got, I guess, a bonus week of summer this week to get things wrapped up and ready for cold temperatures. But if you can hear behind me, we've got people cutting up firewood. So people are preparing. They know that winter can happen on a dime. You know, weather can change very suddenly here, and you can be thrown into the middle of winter within overnight practically. But I wanted to share with you guys in this video that we're not the only ones thinking about the changing seasons. There's a lot of animals up here that go through the same thing, and in fact we finally got our very first bear footage. So I just wanted to show you guys, share that. We caught the bear earlier this spring, but it wasn't really good video footage of it, so I didn't really share it. It was really scraggly looking. Brian kind of got a little bit closer, tried to zoom in, and it was just kind of walking through the trails. But I'm wondering if this could be the same bear that came back, because it was spotted in our neighborhood just last week. Brian saw it on the way home from work. And you know that seeing a bear makes me think, are the bees safe? So I had to do a little bit of bee maintenance as well yesterday, just to make sure that the bees were all buttoned up and they had enough honey for the winter, just in case. I'm going to do a little bit of bee maintenance as well, and make sure that their fence is turned on, because if the bears are roaming around and they're looking for food, they're going to come after those hives. So we got to make sure that they're safe and squared away. You know, as the weather is just always wild up here, and actually yesterday we had this really high winds for half the day. We were averaging 20-mile-an-hour winds or more for several hours, and it blew a lot of the leaves off the trees. I was kind of worried that we'd lose everything, but it kind of calmed down by the afternoon, and the wind sort of slowed up. But we definitely know that sometimes those big winds can bring in big temperature swings, but right now we're getting the heat, and we still haven't had any rain, so we're still waiting on that. Although we have heard in some of the forecasts that there is really no precipitation coming for several weeks now. So we might be super dry through the end of the year. I guess we'll find out. Hey folks, I've realized it's been a little while since I've gotten to the beehives, and I've been feeding them pretty steadily, and I ran out last week, so I want to take stock of what they're doing for feed so I know how much more sugar to buy, and we'll see what they're doing. I just let my smoker inside so I don't have to light that thing in the outside in the breeze, taking away any fire risks there. Goal is to see honey on every frame. This one's lighter, so the back side of this one isn't all the way filled, but this one's almost all the way filled. And then this hive will be all set for the winter. So she hasn't quit laying eggs yet. Usually they do when the temperatures really drop. And we haven't had that yet. We've just had, you know, here and there a little bit of a temperature swing, but we really haven't had the cold weather sink in yet. So queen is still actively laying. Okay, so there is a little bit of a brood nest, but not a lot of honey in this hive, not the amount that I want to see. So my efforts are going to be focusing on feeding this hive the next week. So I'm looking at the last hive here. I'm going for the middle frame. It's most likely to contain honey. But what I can tell from looking already is that it's very light up here. They have not filled out this full box full of honeycomb. So I'm probably going to take it off and consolidate. So I don't know, maybe 30% capped honey. Oh yay, a yellow jacket on my finger. Not as endearing as having a honeybee on your finger. I will focus my efforts on refeeding this hive. What I can see below is a lot of capped honey, just by eyeballing it, so I don't need to take it off to verify it. I will keep feeding this hive as well. Okay, so it's interesting, you know, every hive is different, and hive number 1, they were super strong. They put up tons of honey and they're pretty much full. There's no more room for honey for them unless I put another level on. At this point, I don't know if I want to do that. I've pretty much learned that 2 hive bodies full of honey is pretty good for the wintertime. So hive 1's all set. Hive 2 needs a little bit more help. They're not fully stocked with their honey surplus at this point, so I'm going to continue to feed them heavily. And the same with hive 3. They're putting up honey into that 3rd box. So since they're already halfway there, I'm just going to keep feeding them so they can have that another reserve as well. And I'll check again in 2 weeks to see if hive 1 is holding steady, or if I want to do another, if they need more honey in 2 weeks from now, because it's going to stay nice for 2 weeks. So they're going to continue to take the feed at this point. So I'm going to just keep feeding them. But it does help me decide, do I buy a 50-pound bag of sugar or do I buy a 25-pound bag of sugar? So right now I'm going to go with a 25-pound bag to restock, refeed hives 2 and 3, and then we'll see in 2 weeks if I need to do any more or if they'll be set for the winter. So looking good. I'm really happy with how they've taken up all that feed, because I've gone through at least 60 pounds of sugar in the last 3 weeks. Oh, there's a bee inside my bee suit. I should let him out. Her. Before she stings me. I thought I felt a tickle earlier. There. Close call. Could have gotten stung.